Page 34, Anvil Chorus. It's from an opera. You Google it or read about it, just listen to it, it's gorgeous. And this is quite challenging. Now the music in the book has gotten, in my opinion, rather difficult. This is advanced, intermediate level music. So let's just break it down and see what we can do with this. I look it over, it's 2 pages of music to learn. It's long. The piece is longer than that because of the repeat signs, but there's 2 pages of music to deal with. There's treble and bass clef at the beginning. That could change, I don't know, but at the beginning it is. 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. Make sure you can do the G major scale. At least 1 octave. 2 octaves would be better by now. If you're going to play this kind of music, you should be doing at least 2 octaves. And you should be doing the arpeggios now too. You need to have that technique and make sure on the arpeggios you're doing the tremolo exercise and the accents. But on the arpeggios, if you take it slow, if you haven't been doing them just 1 octave, and once you're comfortable with the 1 octave, then you can do the 2 octaves. But again, make sure you're doing the tremolo exercise because that will do you the most good. And then 4/4 time signature, and we got 8th notes and 16th notes and all kinds of things going on. So 1 hand at a time. Right hand, that little grace note at the beginning of the right hand, I'll do that later. Right now I'm just doing the notes. And then the 3rd finger, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. Now this is a fast piece. Allegro con fuoco means fast with force, or happy with force. I say fast, but I can't do this. I get tense. So I'm going to do a 3-1-3-1-3. I'm going to alternate. So you can alternate any two fingers really, but the idea is by alternating fingers, you got a chance to stay a little more relaxed. So on this, I'm going to do I do have to do 2 thumbs in a row, but that's okay. I'm only doing 2 of them. I can handle that. Or you could start with the thumb and then work it out. So it's a 1, 2. Now on the measure 4, you pretty much have to do a thumb on both. And then because the 16th notes are different notes. You're not here, you're here. They changed you. And don't forget the F sharp, it's in the key signature. No. Now, on the second ending there, in measure 6, you come down here, you got to rest, come down. Then up again. Now, in measure 8, I do a 2nd finger on the F sharp to stay out here. You can do a thumb if you want, I don't care, but I don't. Then measure 9, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. And then come down again. I'd rather not use little finger for both. I mean, you can, and many times you have to, but this is a fast piece. So I'd rather not. So I'm going to use a 3. And then come down. You can use a 4 if you'd like. I just don't want to use 5 on both. Do it again. Okay. Measure 14. Again, that's 1, and then a 3, 1, 3, and then 4, crossover, 5, 4. I like that 5, 4 on those 2 notes because it's a fast piece. And then for measure 16, so I'm using the 2nd finger on the black keys. And then for after the double bars is measure 19, 20, measure 20. It's just C chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and reach down, and 2. Be careful on this. Even though this part is a little slower than the other part, it's got to be crisp. So don't turn those dotted rhythms into triplets. Don't go. Yeah, it rocks. Ba-dee-da. That's triplet, and that's not what you want here. It's got to be crisp. Short notes got to be shorter. Okay. On measure 28, we're 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And I use second finger here, and then here. Thumb, because going on the 16th, I can come down here. I don't want to use 2 on both. No, this is measure 30, then thumb here, and then go on. And then 3, and then go on. Let's get the rhythm here, starting with measure 30 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and triplets, triplet, or 4 and 4 and. Yeah. They have to sound different than the dotted rhythms. Don't make the dotted rhythms triplets. So the dotted rhythms have to be crisp. So. Okay. And the last 2 measures, you're here and you come up. And the last 2 notes, the 16th note's got to be short. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. And use they say a 3-2 or a 2-1. I don't care. Just don't use the same finger on both. Because they're quick. It's safer to use different fingers when it gets quick. Takes a little practice to get used to it, but once you're used to it, it really comes in handy. Left hand, we got these chords. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flex at the wrist and hold it. I'm not coming way up. It's just a little motion, but I don't want to move the whole arm here. Try and get the notes down at the same time, even though I don't. Maybe you can. Now measure 4. Look out. The last beat is here. The bottom and top notes are the same. The middle note changed. The measure 6. Come down. Same rhythm as the right hand. Now measure 9 is here. They want a 1, 5. I'm going to connect them. I don't really want to use 5 again because I just used 5. So I'm going to do a 4, 1. This is measure 9 again. 4, 1, and then a 3, 2 here. Then lift up and come down. Do it again. Okay. Same fingering there for measure 13. Rest, rest. Now you see the curved line there. This is measures 14, 15. There's a curved line. We're tying the top note. Not the other notes. The other notes are different notes. You can't tie them. Can you do that? Hold that down while you do that. And this is tricky. Again, I use weight to push the notes down. I'm just transferring weight from different fingers. This, I'm just holding it down. It doesn't take any weight to hold this down once it's down. Now I'm concentrating. This note's held down, no big deal. It's this one, I want weight to go over here. Transferring weight to these fingers to these fingers. This could be a little roll there if you want. It's fine, a little one. Because this one, once it's down, you don't have to worry about it. And then they want thumb again. So in measures 16, 17, I don't like using thumb again, but we will. And then it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, there are other fingerings, and if your teacher has a different one, that's fine, doesn't matter. Whichever. And then going on after the double bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Look out, measure 22. That is a G, a B, and an F natural. So you can finger it 1-3 or 1-4. I usually do 1-4 out of habit. The whole chord is this. We're just not using the D. And so since that's the fingering for the chord, that's the fingering I typically use. But you can do a 1-3 if you'd like. If you were my student, I would pretty much insist on 1-4. Or 5-4, excuse me, 1-5-4. And the rest of this is pretty much the same rhythm and notes as the right hand for the most part, except the last two measures. We're here, and then you have the G, that's a half note. Hold it down as you play that, and then lift it up as you play the next measure, and it's a 3-1 here. Hold it down. Here. And then 2. Yeah. Then I try putting the hands together, and good luck with this. Well, take it slow, hesitate if you need to. The second measure where the R, it's here. That's about all this is. Let's go to measure 6. You're here, rest. 3 and 4 and 1 and. It's the same notes and rhythm. Measure 9. Down. Do it again. Oh boy. Let's go to measure 14. You're here. And then after the double bars, let's go down to measure 29, or 28, it's here. And 29, same together. G sharp there. And then, remember the G sharps, so through the rest of the measure. Sort of what the rhythm is. So I'm working the hands together, and then I'll go over just a few measures at a time, and I'll work out the hesitations. Keeping it slow, but no hesitations. Now once I have a few measures with no hesitations, I don't keep playing them. I put them aside. There's no point in keep playing the measures that you can already play when you're trying to learn it. Focus on the stuff you can't play. Then once you get it all through and you can play bits and pieces okay, then you go back and put it all together. You just waste a lot of time if you keep playing stuff you can already play when there's other stuff you can't play. You need to work on that. Then I think about the articulation and these grace notes. Well, this is fast, so we're going to do a type of grace note here where you pretty much play them at the same time and release the grace note. Kind of chunk it. Because there isn't time for that when you go really fast. You gotta just do them at the same time and release the grace note. Throughout, anytime I get a grace note, I'm going to play it that same way. It's interpretation. Other people might not agree with that, but that's how I'm going to do it. Staccato, flex at the wrist. We don't have time to do anything bigger. It's got to be bum, bum, bum. Don't come way up. Just a little motion is all it is. Measure 6, accented. I'm adding in the articulation. Measure 20 here. Pretty much connecting this. You get rest between the phrases, so you're connecting that until you get to measure 28 or 27. Staccato, short. You put in the articulation. And then I add the dynamics, and that applies to the melody. Now the first measure, there's no melody. It's kind of an introduction. It's soft. Careful. Because in the second measure, you do have a melody. But it is soft. So this left hand has to get in the background. Now there's a couple ways of interpreting this, or a couple ways of handling it. You can choose, your teacher will choose. You're starting at one dynamic, and then the melody comes in later at the same dynamic, so then what you start with, that part has to go in the background. You can do it all of a sudden, if you have the control, just all of a sudden drop down. It's hard to do. Or what you can do is put a little diminuendo there in the last couple 3 notes in the measure, and just come down and get ready for it. You have a crescendo, but don't stay there. No, come back down. Here, then measure 6, moderately loud, but then you get a crescendo to go up to very loud. Each one of these patterns, I'm going to get a little louder. Louder, 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 louder. Back down. And then, again, people don't agree on this either, but to me, the melody is still in the right hand. The fact that the left hand happens to be playing an octave away, the same, to me, that's still harmony. Because you can have harmony be an octave apart. So I'm still playing the right hand louder. All the way through. Measure 10, then back down to moderately loud. Do it again. Okay. Now when you get to measure 13, you're loud. And then come back down to about loud to somewhere in there. On measure 16, that's the melody, that's what I want to hear. This is in the background. So I'm playing each pretty much at the same time, trying to, and then very loud there. That's the right hand. The left hand is, it can be sort of loud. At measure 27 at the end, it says sempre forte. Sempre means always. Now they're telling you keep it loud. Always be loud here. To me, the right hand's what I want to hear. I want to hear the right hand. To me, that is loud, and the left hand's in the background. Even at the end, it's loud, very loud, but to me the melody's still in the right hand. Then the speed. Well, this has different speeds depending on where you're at. It is kind of fast at first, and they give you a metronome marking. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 1. Somewhere in there, if you can. These have to be even. How fast can you play those? They have to be even. Controlled. So however fast you can play those, that's probably going to be your speed. Measure 15 and 16. Even. And then at measure 20, this is a majestic. It's kind of, it didn't really slow down much, but just a hair, because we want it to be sound majestic, more like a march, a processional here. As far as what I call the road map. The road map is like, when do you go where? Because some pieces you just play them straight through, not a problem. Some pieces like this you don't. If you see the reverse repeat sign in the beginning of the second measure, then you have first and second endings in the second line. So you're going to play the first ending, and that repeat sign sends you back to the reverse repeat sign. And you play those measures again, except you don't do the first ending again. Once you do an ending, you're done with it. So you go to the second ending and keep going. Then there's a reverse repeat sign at the beginning of measure 31. And at the last line, again, you get endings again. So when you get to the repeat sign and the first ending, you go back to the reverse repeat sign at measure 31. and then finish it off. But only do an ending one time. You don't play it more than once, unless it has more than one number in it, and these don't. Now they've added pedal, and we need pedal. We want the overtones. It's an orchestra piece, but we don't want to lose the staccatos. So I don't want to be pedaling the staccatos if I can help it. But I need the pedal, especially over at measure 20. We want overtones and we want to connect these chords. So when I use pedal, like a measure 6, I'm going to push the note down first and then the pedal. I'm going to lift it with a staccato because I want to hear the staccato. All I'm doing is giving the overtones or reinforcing that natural accent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and that's all we're doing here. Measure 15 or 14, here. It helps to connect. It gives accent. It gives a little more push. Now we don't mind that so much because it happens so fast you don't have time to be irritated. We don't use it on staccatos. We don't want to lose that. But on measure 18, you play them staccatos, but we're going to go ahead and pedal them to bring it out. But then lift it before you go to measure 21 a little silence because it's a new one. Just overlap pedal. Change it after you play the note. Measure 27, lift it up with the hands on second beat. The half notes, like a measure 30, and then don't pedal that. We're reinforcing the accent here, pedal that. That third pedaling is pretty good, just like it is. I'm surprised I'm saying that. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs. I will do the staccatos and the grace notes, and I'll go ahead and pedal it so you can see the pedaling. We're going to do all the repeats, all the endings. I'll give us 4 counts because there's 4 counts in a measure. Just real super slow is all. Just check notes and rhythms. You can do it one hand at a time if you need to. 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Repeat. and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and repeat. 3 and second ending. 1 and 2 and 2 and 4 and off.